BookTube, here to do one of my absolute favorite tag videos to watch. I'm finally going to fill my 25 bookish facts about me tag. For all of you who said that this tag is harder than it sounds because it's hard to come up with 25 facts about yourself, true. Touche, fair point, my friends. I wanted to film this video like a week ago, but didn't because I just couldn't think of 25 facts about myself that were bookish. But I did. I finally did, so here we are. We are ready to go. Number one, I hate deckled edges on books more than possibly anything else. I don't care about French flaps. I don't care about gilt. I don't care about anything else. I just do not care for deckled edges, and they seem to be a fairly popular thing in the book design world. So that can get a little frustrating. It seems like everybody else is absolutely enamored with them. Can't stand them. Number two, I have 4 physical library cards and 3 digital library cards, some for states that I don't live in and have never lived in. That's the great thing about digital library cards, folks. You don't always have to live in that state in order to acquire one. So needless to say, I am a heavy and hardcore library user. I don't check, I'm not to the max on every card because that would be obscene, but it is very helpful in getting to see which library already has what in stock. So I don't necessarily have to jump on the holds list. I can go and check it out digitally, or I can put it on hold at this library, or it's already in at this library, or whatever. It just makes it easier to get the books in my greedy little hands as fast as humanly possible. Number 3, I dog ear books, but I do it on the bottom. I will take a book and I will fold up the bottom corner of the page and not the top corner, because then you can still find your spot, but it doesn't, for some reason, look or feel quite as obscene as doing it on the top corner. I think it's because on the bottom, like, books are more likely to get kind of torn and bent up on the bottom corner than they are on the top, just from virtue of like taking them on and off the shelves. But yeah, I will also dog ear the bottom of a page if I find a really good quote that I like on that page, so that I can go back to that page later and get it written down. So I do dog ear. You guys, I can feel your judgment coming through the screen. Number 4, I recently donated over 200 books to Goodwill and still have over 300 on my shelves, between the shelves behind me and the shelves upstairs. I've been collecting books for a very long time. This is the first clean out that I have done in years, and it made me feel a little obscene. Number 5, I am always at the maximum checkouts for the library at which I work. We are allowed 50 checkouts at a time. Because I usually have holds coming in, I am always at max capacity, like always. It is a daily struggle to shuffle what I'm going to return so that I can take out a hold, or what I'm going to bring back because it has a hold on it for someone else, and then what I can take home in its place. Some people might like having wiggle room. I believe in go big or go home. Number 6, I used to take my classmates and take their likenesses and their traits and just give them names from fictional characters and then write like fan fiction about them. Number 7, and that is that I used to stay inside during recess and organize my teacher's bookshelves because I was not an outdoor kid, and my classmates didn't like me very much because of the bitchy things that I used to do to them, like make OTPs based on people that they hated. So I would frequently stay inside and help the actual librarian or help my teachers get their library shelves and library books in order until the time came that they actually made me go outside. And then I would just take a book and sit outside on a bench and read. And number 8, when I was in about the 5th grade, I wrote my first book, like start to finish story of more than like 5 pages. It was about a girl named Sarah whose whole family is killed in a horrible car crash while she's at home after dance practice one day. And she runs away from Child Protective Services and ends up living behind a dumpster with this boy named Shane, who is very cute, but who is also homeless, and he taught her how to survive on the streets, until one day Child Protective Services shows up while she's out doing street urchin things, and he disappears, and then she's just left all alone crying by a dumpster behind the store. I was a dark kid. I didn't have enough tragedy in my own life, so I created tragedy in fictional lives. But the librarian must have read it and given it to the counselor, because then the counselor came up and was like, do you need to talk, Chelsea? Is there something going on in your life we need to know about? Do you need help? at home, or do you need help with anything? And I'm sure she was just doing her job, but I just had to be like, just writing a story, guys. Just writing a sad story. I'm cool. Everything's fine. And it was, and everything was fine. I was just a dark kid. And so ever since then, I learned to balance the scales a little bit in terms of like character tragedy and how fictional words might reflect on authorial influence. Number 9. British literature 2 in college almost made me drop my English major. I hated that professor so fucking much that if I hadn't had the will to kind of persevere to the next semester when I had my favorite professor, I would have ended up being a communications major. Number 10, I hate movie tie-in covers more than almost anything. I do have some on my shelves. They were gifted to me. Yes, I get defensive because of how much I hate movie tie-in covers. I know they're a marketing thing, but I feel like so often they do a disservice to the book inside that I just would be happy if we never ever had a movie tie-in cover for another book ever again. Number 11, I only got my MLS, which stands for Master's in Library Science, because I didn't get into grad school the first go around, and I didn't want to have to start paying back my student loans, so I wanted to stay in school. Turns out that is literally the best decision that I've ever made in my entire life, because I love being a librarian more than I think I would have ever been able to love being a researcher or a professor. I absolutely love my job. I love working with teens and books in a public service setting. I absolutely love it. And it just goes to show for all of you out there who are making those decisions, you never know what life has in store. Number 12, I rainbow my bookshelves. Number 13, I have zero problem locating books on my rainbow bookshelves because I have a pretty solid visual memory for covers. And I usually do most of my impulse buying based on covers. So I like to think I have a little bit of a knack for picking them out among the masses. So finding books isn't really all that difficult. Number 14, I am a young adult librarian and I work at an urban public library in the Midwest. So I work with a lot of people of color, youth of color, youth who live below the poverty line, youth who don't necessarily get who are disenfranchised in a lot of ways and who find that they don't have a voice in a lot of ways, and working with them daily to expand not only their horizons through the books they read, but to let them know about the services that exist for them out in the world if they care to utilize them, gives me a lot of really deep, like, personal satisfaction. And I love my job very, very, very much. Number 15, I have had and broken 4 different Kindles since the Kindles first started coming out. I've had one of pretty much each generation. I have broken them horribly. Although the last one that I have, which is the Kindle Fire, not the new fancy ones, but one of the old ones, I have had for several years now, contrary to the strain previous to that where I couldn't seem to keep them functioning. I've had the last one for several years. Number 16, I have always wanted to be a professional audiobook reader. I have just thought that would be the coolest career. I love reading books out loud. When we take car trips, we usually forego actual audiobooks and I will read out loud to the car. My husband read the Hunger Games series via me reading them out loud to him on our honeymoon. And I just really enjoy the actual process of reading out loud. I've been told that I have a voice that would lend itself well to audiobooks. But from all the research I've done, it's kind of a tricky industry to break into, and you actually need more acting chops than you do reading chops. Like, I'm not necessarily the best with like accents or different genders and stuff. I just really enjoy the process of reading out loud. Number 17, I am usually reading at least 5 things at one time. A physical book, an ebook, an audiobook in my car, an audiobook on my phone at work, and something graphic, like a graphic novel or a single issue or something like that. That is minimum. There are several times there are also like short story magazines that are also ebooks in there, or I'm reading one home book and one workbook, but there are always at least 5 things on the go. The only time that has not happened is actually, believe it or not, yesterday, for the first time, there were 0 books on my Goodreads to be read shelf. We're going to go ahead and slip that in there and make it number 18. There were, as of yesterday, 0 things on my Goodreads to be read shelf. It is still empty. Probably not by the time you guys are seeing this video, but at the time of filming it, it is still empty. That is the first time that has happened since I started Goodreads. And it gave me weird emotions when it happened. When I cleared out the last currently reading book and it was empty, I had feelings. It gave me a surprising amount of feelings that I had to deal with. Number 19. Trashy celebrity memoirs, especially if they deal with religion, are my crack. This year alone, I have read Troublemaker, which was about Scientology and was written by Leah Remini. I have read Turning the Tables by Teresa Giudice. I have read Rob Lowe's book, Stories I Only Tell My Friends. And I've read Holly Madison's book, Down the Rabbit Hole, about her time at the Playboy Mansion. That is 4 trashy celebrity memoirs in 4 months, and it is only 2016. Please, guys, if you have recommendations, send them my way. It is like, I just can't get enough. Reading Down the Rabbit Hole, Holly Madison's book, was what got me out of the sinkhole that Reading a Little Life put me into. Number 20. I am currently debating bringing an entire suitcase of books to Mid-Americon to get signed. That probably won't happen, but I'm having to make some very Sophie's Choice level decisions as to which books by which authors I want to take to get signed, because number 21, I am going to Mid-Americon, and I am super excited, and I'm going to be able to meet George R.R. Martin and Gail Carriger and John Scalzi, and I hear Scott Lynch is going to be there, and I am just like over the moon. This is the first convention I've ever been to. It's the first Bookish event I've ever been to, and like I said, go big or go home. It's the con of cons. It's Mid-Americon. It's Worldcon. The Hugo Awards are going to be announced in my home city, and I'm going to be there for it, and I'm just like, I've got stars in my eyes. I'm so damn excited. Number 22. I used all 30 checkouts when I was like at my home public library. When I was younger, we were only allowed 30 checkouts, and I used to check them out to the max with the American Curl series, which are like not even middle grade historical fiction about different girls set in different time periods. What are we at? 22. I have read every single Dear America Diary book that has been published. This was another historical fiction series that told about different historical events through diaries. So my favorite ones were Carrie Logan, who was the Oregon Trail girl, and I forget her name. I think it was Elizabeth, but she rode on the Titanic, and of course ended up being one of the ones who survived because she was able to write the diary. But they were just first person accounts of these various historical events written in diary format. They came out with a line called My America, which was the same thing but from boys. But from what I understand, it didn't take off quite as well. Number 23, I am a sucker for things named after books. So I have bought yarn because it had a bookish name, candles, perfumes, coffee, food, print. If it's bookish themed or punny or has anything to do with a book or book character, I am there. I am giving you all my dollars for it. It's just the way it is. Number 24, I cannot read without having food or drink near me. Usually coffee or tea, mainly coffee. At this point, it's become almost Pavlovian. Like if I'm reading for more than like 10, 15 minutes at a time, I will reach out to find like my cup of coffee or my water bottle or my snack. And if it's not there, then I just get distracted thinking about how it's not there. So yeah, I am definitely one of those people who eats and drinks while I am reading. Number 24, I still have a couple of my favorite college textbooks. I don't think you can see them from where I'm sitting, but I have my Norton's Anthology of Children's Literature, and I have my huge Pelican Shakespeare, which is right here. It's this huge bad boy. It got a little bit of water damage when I moved home from college, but this is one of the few college textbooks that I still have. There's the front cover. I'm having a hard time holding it with one hand. It is huge. I had to put this bad boy in my backpack and carry it with me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday to my 2-hour Shakespeare lecture. So this book and I have literally gone on some adventures together. And number 25, I went to Rome when I was in high school, when I was a junior. I went with both the Latin and history clubs because I was president of history club and vice president of Latin club. Guess who was super popular in high school? This girl. I'm just kidding. But we went to Rome my junior year, and I spent all of my money, my souvenir money, on a little tiny version of the Colosseum that I gave my parents and books written in Italian. So I have a copy of Harry Potter in Italian, and I have a copy of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe in Italian, and I have several Winnie the Pooh like little folios in Italian, and I can't read any of them. I love them. They're gorgeous. They're upstairs in like my special collection displayed on a shelf, but spent lots of money on books that I can't read because they were in a language that I still don't speak. So good money spent in high school, Chelsea. But I do, in all honesty, I do really enjoy having them, and they're really good memories and souvenirs of that trip because it's the only time I've ever been out of the country. So I'm teasing, but also I really, really love having them. And that's it, you guys. That is 25 bookish facts about me. Tell me some things about you down below. If you've done this video, please link to it. I would be thrilled to see it. Otherwise, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. Come check out more of my bookish videos. You can always catch me on Goodreads, Twitter, Instagram. I'm all over the internet and always ready to talk books, you guys. All right, happy reading. Bye.